welcome to the first episode of the Economical EV. I hope today to be able to explain why I decided to do this and how it might be of use to you. The purpose would be, or the purpose is, to research free and economical chargers for electric vehicles and document it where they're located at, and any quirks or business hours or stuff like that you would need to know. There's three types of chargers that I want to look at. Totally free chargers, free with a purchase like at a motel at night, and then economically priced chargers. This is 2026, the middle of 2026 right now, and I think an economical price to me is 25 cents or less. I just want to do it sort of nationwide. That's what I see as a good price, 25 cents or less. I have saw some Tesla chargers, like 27 cents at night after 10 until 4 o'clock or whatever. But yeah, so 25 cents or less for the economically priced chargers. So I don't know how long the free chargers will stay around, especially the fast free chargers. I think, well, first of all, so level 1 is 0 to 2,000 watts or 0 to 2K. And level 2 is 2K to 20K. Both of those, level 1 and level 2, are AC. And the AC goes to your car and gets converted into DC and goes into your battery. And then there's level 3, or DC fast charging, and it's 20 kW and up. People debate over the actual numbers. Some they're on the bottom end and on the top side of level 2, but basically for my purposes, level 1 will be 0 to 2K, level 2 will be 2 to 20, and then level 3 will be 20 and up. And that will come in play when I'll show you a map in maybe another episode, or maybe this one, showing, there's little colors that is associated with it. So, and then talk about those three type chargers and look them up and try to, find them and talk about them. And then also talk about other related topics, just that's related to cars or that you see along the way, or somehow or another related to electric vehicles. It could be motorcycles, e-bikes. It could be what happens while you're charging. Don't get too broad of a subject matter, but not directly always related to EVs is what I'm saying. First, for the journey as to how I started this whole thing is I had a couple hybrid cars. We bought a Prius hybrid. We liked it. My daughter says it sounded like an angry bee because of the way it shifted. You start it, you hit the gas, and it just went up, and then it stayed at that RPM, and then the transmission, it's actually a planetary gear, I think, but it would just adjust, and then the RPM would stay the same, and it would just, make this noise. So we had the Prius. We liked it. It got good mileage. It was a 2012, I believe. And then we bought a 2022 Hyundai Ioniq hybrid, and it got good gas mileage too. So then we went out and got a Hyundai Kona Ultimate. That was the body style or the trim, and I think they were a little optimistic when they were calling it Ultimate. It's a small car, and to me it's basically a two-seater. It has a back seat, but you want to be real small to sit in the back of it. But it's a good little car for just going around town. And I've actually used it for traveling. We've traveled a couple places in it. We've been to Florida. We live in Virginia, the western part of Virginia, central Virginia, on the western side, like near West Virginia. So we've been out to Branson, Missouri, and we went down to Florida. And it's slow. I mean, You know, the Kona Electric has a 64 kilowatt hour battery. It charges maximum rate at 77 kW. So a while ago when I was talking about level 3, 20 and up, that's 20 to, right now there's some Chinese stuff that's doing 1,000 kilowatt. So the 20 kilowatt, a lot of times what you see is 25 kilowatt. I've charged at quite a few of those, just little small boxes on the wall. Sometimes they'll be pedestal mounted, but yeah, 25 kilowatt. So then, you know, those are slow fast chargers. Then you get like 50s and 125s, 175s. I saw 180s, 250s. So my little car won't charge, but 77 is its max. I've saw 77, 78 for a minute or two, but basically, and you know, I'm talking about my car because that's what I'm most familiar with, but 10% to 80%, if you average 50 kW, you're doing good at the fast chargers. So the whole point of this is DC fast chargers vary based on your car as to how quick you can charge. Hyundai also, you know, makes the Ioniq 5 and the 6. I don't think the 6 is going to be sold here in the U.S. anymore, except for maybe the N trim, you know, the sporty trim. But they will charge at over 200 kW. The Kona is a good little cheap car, and for the purpose of what I'm doing, looking for free chargers and almost free chargers, I don't really need anything much faster right now because I can't accept it. I can only take in 77 kW. So, you know, you just have to be patient. That's what I would say. It's a Gen 1 Kona 21 through, well, it's a 2021, and Gen 1 was through, I think, year 2023. Gen 2 of Konas was 24 and 25. They've slacked up a little bit in 26. Maybe took a buy year or whatever on producing them. They got a little bit faster charging, maybe 100 kW, and also the AC went up. My AC charging rate is 7.4, 7.5, and they went to like the 10.9 or 10.5, whatever it is, to charge like at your house on level 2. If you're charging, I forgot where I was going with this, but if you're charging with a Kona or something like it, it's going to be slow. Remember, the Kona is probably, out of the mainstream vehicles, the second slowest thing to charge. The only thing slower is the Chevy Bolt, B-O-L-T. My friend has one of those, and we love the cars, but the Chevy Volt charges at about 50, 55 kW max, and here I am doing 70, 77 or whatever max. All of the new cars pretty much nowadays at least have 150 kW and charging, which means, you know, you get a 100 to 125, something like that. Also, voltage comes into play, but we're getting way off the purpose of this, what we're doing here on this wiki and the YouTube channel. But anyway, it's, you know, that's the way I do. I just ramble about, and I hope you like it, and sorry if you don't. The best way I would know is just, if you're interested in getting up EV, get one, get a used one. That's what I would recommend. Maybe a little bit faster than mine for its charging rate. And then, you know, this site might help you some with finding the occasional free charger if it's in your area, or free with purchase, or a good priced one at least. But by all means, you know, check out all the other apps, PlugShare, There are lots of different places to look to find out where to charge at, and I'll just list some of them here. Google Maps is actually getting quite a bit of stuff. Some of their, I think it's the Chevy Equinox and other cars are getting Google Maps integrated into, that is their map feature. And I feel like part of it is the benefit of anybody using Google Maps is they're having to get the charging stations on anyway, to be able to, saddle up to these car dealers, like suppliers like Chevrolet, because it's their end screen, or it's their map that's inside in the compute that's in the car. Google Maps, PlugShare, that's really where you should check almost. Basically, I've looked at PlugShare a lot over the time, and I try to check in when I go to the chargers, because that lets other people know that it was working on this day. And if nobody checks in, you wonder if it's worth stopping at, whether it's you pay or not, or it's free or not. Doesn't, whatever. Google Maps, PlugShare, ChargePoint. In its own way, a better route planner, which is that's a good app. I own it, or I pay $50 a year for it. It will tell you where to stop and charge. You just plan a route and it'll tell you where to stop and charge. By the way, PlugShare has something like that too, called Trip Planner. If you haven't used it, it's interesting. You have to do a little bit more work than in a better route planner, but it's a good app. It's a good part of PlugShare app too. Some other ones is Open Charge Map, Charge Hub, Charge Finder, EV Connect, EV Gateway, Charge Lab, Flow, ChargeZilla, Blink. And then you have like Department of Energy, Alternate Fueling Station Locator, FindFuel.com. We're getting down in the weeds here a little bit now, but and then you have, of course, the Tesla app. You don't have to own a Tesla to use the app, as long as you buy the adapters. You put the NACS adapter, which is now the American standard. Actually, that's North American Charging Standard, I believe is what that stands for. But that was the original Tesla connector, and they adopted it. North America adopted it as their standard, and now most car manufacturers are moving to the NACS charger. So you pull up to a Tesla charger, you put the adapter on the NACS the NACS head, which you pull off of the little dispenser, and then you put your adapter on. You put your adapter in the car, and you can charge there. If you're going to do it much, you probably should pay the $12.99 a month, is what it is right now, to get the reduced pricing. Basically, it saves you 25% when you're charging at Tesla superchargers. I will say that, like my little car, like the little Kona, that only charges at 77, and all of those stations are like 250s and up. I try to be aware of what's going on around me, because I'm a slow charger, and I try not to hold people up. Like if you're me or you have a Chevy Volt, you would want to be aware of your surroundings. Yeah, the Tesla app is a good app. Electrify America, it also has like a 25% off if you do a membership. And then there's other places that you can just look, like I think Circle K has an app, Buc-ee's. You got to dig a little bit, but they'll tell you where their charging stations are. Where charging stations are located at a Buc-ee's. It's not theirs. They usually get somebody to do it, I think. OpenStreetMaps, I believe that's used by a Better Route Planner. There's a Rivian app that you can go and look at whether you have a Rivian or not. Charge Smart EV, and I think Reddy has one. So yeah, that's some of the different charging applications or software apps that you can go look for chargers, not just this site. I wouldn't recommend just using this site, this little site that I'm doing here. My target audience to me would be semi-retired or flexible schedule people. If you like the road trip and you're not in a hurry, maybe use slower routes because slower speeds, you get more miles per kW. And if you're having to charge slow, you don't want to wait but just so long. I would say you have to have lots of patience if you're going to charge at free chargers generally. The fastest charge I've ever saw that was free was 175 kW. It was branded as free to move, sort of like ChargePoint, or it's similar. ChargePoint does lots of things, but free to move was the name of it. Well, a couple of them I saw. They were usually at car dealerships, I believe, the 2 or 3 times I saw. So, yeah. So, yeah, give it a shot. See what you think about this website. And by all means, look at other things. I sure do. But I hope you enjoy, digging through this site. And like I said, as I go through this, I'll be talking about, also I'm doing a little cross-country trip, trying to see if I can go across the country without paying anything for charging. Don't know if that's possible or not. I've actually already done one leg. I think I mentioned earlier, I live in Central Virginia on the western edge near West Virginia. So I went from there down to Virginia Beach and then back without charging, a little less than 500 miles. I mean, without paying for charging. And there'll be more to follow on that. I'm going to do some follow-up episodes on that. And also the wiki and the wiki maps where I store some of my worksheet type stuff. This is the first episode of me rambling and talking about charging stations that are free to use, or economically priced chargers, charging stations, and other related topics. And I hope you have a good day.